Okay, so I wasn't actually going to do this, but we're going to do an analysis of the markets. I figured, since I have my charts up, we'll take a look at where we are in terms of the fundamentals, the COT report. If you're wondering, how did I learn about the COT report? I actually learned that through Bernd Skopinski, and I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. He has a very good playlist on the supply and demand. But yeah, I learned that from him. Very skilled trader. One of the reasons actually why I started learning from him is because he made some incredible calls, like before the market even got there, on the Swiss franc. I think it was silver, the euro, Mexican peso. And he also actually made the call on the indices that they would hit all-time highs last year. So yeah, definitely a very skilled trader. Also, Trader Nick, that's another trader I follow. I'll put links to them in the video description. But basically, what COT is every week, these participants, I guess they have to file a report because their positions are really big in the market, especially the commercials and non-commercials. The non-reportables, I don't think they actually file. I'm not sure how they determine this, but yeah, three participants. You want to pay attention to the commercials and non-commercials especially. Okay, so the commercials are the users and producers. Non-commercials are the fund managers, hedge funds, pension funds, banks. I would say these two are like your smart money. Okay, so if anyone refers to like the smart money, it's these guys. The non-reportables or the retail traders, they are usually wrong. Okay, so if they are buying, more often than not, these two are selling. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. And yeah, we're going to take a look at my analysis here. I'm not going to get too in-depth because Bern actually teaches this in the online trading campus, which I highly recommend, if you are a new trader. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this. Now, the way that I analyze things is going to be a little bit different to Bern. I'm just trying this out because the one that actually developed this indicator, I believe, was Larry Williams, and he won. Basically, he won the Robbins Cup, which is like the World Cup of trading. I think he started with something like $10,000 and he turned it into like over $1 million. I think at one point it was like 2.2 million in like 12 months, which is crazy. So if there's anyone who knows how to trade, it's him. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the fundamentals here. So we're going to follow the commercials. We're going to take a look at what actually happens in the market, when they are at these low extreme levels. Okay, so I'm going to mark these out here. So what we'll do is we'll mark that. We'll mark this. So all these lows, we're actually at a low right now. But the reason why I'm going to mark it is because we're going to, let me just put a vertical line here. I'll put another vertical line there. The reason why I'm showing you this is because it's actually telling a story right now. Okay. So if you look at the lows when it first happened, we did go down a bit, but notice how the market turned around and it went down. And if you look at the second time it happened, notice how at this extreme low, we ended up going down, and again this time, and again over here. So let's see how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So out of the 4 times it happened, 3 times it was like dead right in terms of, not in terms of timing. You got to remember, this is not about timing. It's more about getting that fundamental bias. So we are looking at the US dollar or the dollar index. And you can see that we're actually at an extreme low here. So the probability of the dollar going down is pretty high. Okay, based on the COT, the commercials, remember, this is considered like the smart money. I think this might refer actually to the central banks, but I could be wrong. If you know about that, just let me know in the comment section. But yeah, so far in terms of the US dollar, I am biased to the downside. That also means like the euro, the British pound, they are all going to gain strength. So we want to see what it actually looks like on like the euro. Okay, so you might notice on the euro, we are at an extreme high. So the probability of this going up is quite high, because if you look at, we do like a quick back test here, what actually happened. Okay, this one we have like multiple peaks here. Let's just do that and that and that. But if you notice, like when we went up, notice how the euro went up. So over here, if you line it up, we went up, we went up, we turn around, we went up, and over here too, and we're back here again. So it tells me that there's a very good probability that the euro is probably going to end up going up. And it's going to be across the board for all the majors. You can actually see it starting to happen on the British pound here as well. The Swiss franc. Okay, so the Swiss franc. Japanese yen, which is kind of interesting, because what I find with the Japanese yen, usually when it strengthens, more often than not, the markets, the indices tend to drop. Okay, so could this be like a sign that maybe, an early sign that maybe those markets are going to start topping and rolling over? I'm not sure. Okay, so if you're from Canada, Canadian dollar, this one's actually near the bottom, which is interesting, but it has turned up. And I think eventually we may see the Canadian dollar strengthen. But right now, I wouldn't get involved with this. I think the strongest signal is probably the euro if you're going to end up buying. Okay, same thing with the Australian dollar, which is very interesting. You see this near the low. There may be a possible drop on the Australian dollar, because that's very unusual. Usually, what I notice with the currencies, they tend to all kind of align, and we have the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar not aligned. Even the New Zealand dollar is moving towards the highs here. So I think maybe we might see a big move, potentially on the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, moving to gold. You might notice gold is up here, and the last time we were here, gold went up. So my bias for gold is that we are actually going to be moving up. Okay, just do that. So yeah, I think gold is going to end up going up. This doesn't mean that it's going to go up today. What it does mean is that they are starting to build positions and they're starting to hedge. Okay, so that's how you can see it. Silver, it's not going to work with this indicator that I have. I have to actually adjust it. There's another. I don't know why it doesn't work for silver. For some reason, it doesn't work for silver. But I do have this for platinum. Platinum, I would say I'm kind of neutral because we are in the middle here. Let's see, this is copper. Okay, so copper, it actually shows that we're at an extreme low here. So there's a good probability that copper is going to drop. The only thing is we're at an all-time high. So there is no like supply or anything here. It could end up going up for quite a while. Okay, so that's one of the things too. When you are looking at COT, it doesn't mean that it's going to turn today or like this week. It could actually take weeks or even months. For example, this euro. I've been tracking this euro, expecting this thing to turn around since like, you can actually see here. Is it April 14th of last year? And this thing has been going sideways. So, and also, it didn't really turn around. So you got to be kind of mindful of that, okay? Because it looks like it may be going up now. So it's not a timing tool. It's more to get a fundamental bias. For timing, you would use, for example, supply and demand to enter and to time the market. But yeah, I'm not getting into that just yet. This is more just a general bias on where I think things are going in the market. What's interesting with oil? Okay, so if you look at oil, you notice how like we're at the bottom here. I'm just going to circle the times that we were at these extreme lows because we can actually see what happened to the market, when it did reach these levels. So you can see it went down. This one also went down. And this is how I do like my back testing to see, what are the probabilities of oil going down in this case. So that's like 3 for 3 here. What about this one here? Yep, this one went down, and you can even see, like, so if you look at oil, we did shoot up, but then it looks like it's turning around. So are we going to be headed further down, or are the commercials going to be pushing this higher? Because if they end up being over here, then I'm going to be looking at buying oil. But for now, the way that I see it, it looks like oil is going to be dropping. So maybe the war's going to end in Iran. I'm not sure. But yeah, I am paying attention to that. Natural gas. Okay, so you see natural gas, we are at an extreme high here. There's a very good chance natural gas is going to go up. So maybe there's going to be like a headline, some natural gas facility got damaged or destroyed or whatever. That will send natural gas like flying through the roof is what I'm thinking. But that's just my prediction, okay, in terms of bias, fundamental bias. Now, COT you can't really use for the indices. Okay, so I do have the indices here. For this, you're going to have to use something else like valuation. I know Byrne uses valuation. He has a tool for that, which is not free, by the way. But yeah, it's based on, actually, you know what, there is another indicator that you could use. Although I think Byrne's indicator is more accurate. It's called the Larry Williams valuation. Okay, so we could use this. I'm going to change a couple of things here. So we're going to change that. And we're going to change that. So we are overvalued right now for the YM, which is the Dow Jones. Okay, so we are overvalued on the Dow Jones. Actually, wait, NASDAQ is interesting. We are undervalued on NASDAQ. So we might see NASDAQ actually make a push up. What about S&P? Okay, S&P as well, undervalued. Russell, we are coming from undervalued. Okay, so it looks like the markets are going to push higher. Based on what I'm seeing here, the indices are going to push higher. Bitcoin is a bit of a different beast. Now, this one has been stamping me as far as which one to follow. I'm just going to use the commercials actually for this. Let's see what the commercials are doing for Bitcoin. Okay, so they are saying, and one way you can actually, backtest this is to look at what happens when we were at an extreme high. Okay, so we did go up here, and then what happened when we dropped down to this line here? Okay, so we did go down. That's kind of how I backtest things. So there's a good chance actually that Bitcoin may end up going down. We have a gap here though, so I'm not sure if it's going to fill it. Okay, so yeah, I think I would stay away from Bitcoin. But if I had to guess, based on what I'm seeing here, my analysis, I would say Bitcoin may end up going down, but I would be careful of Bitcoin because COT isn't as reliable when it comes to crypto. Okay, let me just see what Ethereum is doing. Okay, Ethereum is also going down here, which is interesting. Yeah, generally you do like your analysis on Bitcoin, and then whatever it is for Bitcoin, you apply it to like Ethereum. But yeah, those are my, I guess, predictions for the different markets for the coming weeks / months. Let me just go down here I'm going to do the South African Rand because I know I have a friend from South Africa. He might be watching and might be interested. There might be others too. So according to what I see here, keep in mind too that if we are looking at the US dollar possibly dropping, it also means that the South African Rand may end up going up. Right now it's kind of in the middle here, so I wouldn't be doing anything with the South African Rand, but I wouldn't be surprised if the commercials start pushing higher. If it reaches this green level here, that is when you know the South African Rand is going to strengthen. So if it does strengthen, where could it strengthen from? Like, let's just see what I can find here in terms of supply and demand. What's actually interesting is we actually have a formation. Looks like it's forming right now. Okay, so again, this is not a signal service. I'm still learning supply and demand, but this bar also has not closed. So at the end of at the end of today, we would have a drop-based drop formation if you're familiar with supply and demand. So I wouldn't be surprised if, price pretty much does this. So once a day closes, I wouldn't be surprised if it does this. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so that is the South African rand as far as my analysis goes. Anyways, guys, very short video, just kind of giving my take on the markets, based on what I'm seeing right now. It's going to be interesting to actually see what happens. This is why I kind of wanted to do this like online trading journal, if you will, because I can go back and I can actually see if any of my predictions came true. Okay, so that's going to be it. I'm going to add those links, as I mentioned, in the video description, the pinned comment as well. You can check Burnt Out, Trader Nick out. And I think that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.